Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome on in. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic, fantastic Wednesday. Hump day. Can't beat that. Can't beat that. I'm not going to be on camera this evening just because I was running around earlier and I just jumped in the shower. My hair's wet and I'm looking a little crazy. So you can just look at my picture for the night. But welcome in. Hey, Linda. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Gwen. Hopefully, you got my message. We're not going to do too much, Sebastian. Hey, Steve. I know it's getting redundant. Hey, Mary Beth. And then there's another Mary Beth. Well, look at that. Now we have two. Motor City Dog. And then there's Aries. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. So the live for some reason was privated. And when I go through StreamYard, I privated the video. I don't know why I privated it, but I want to make it public, and it was public on my side, but for some reason it wasn't public like on my StreamYard. So hopefully you guys all got your alerts. If not, there'll be some stragglers coming in, and that's perfectly fine. But if you'd like to, please take a second, hit the like button, all the fun things. If you do like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you here. Sorry, I had to cough. So if you'd like to become a channel member throughout the live, I will put the link in the chat. And then I will also put the link in for my second channel. If you want to go over there and subscribe, we would love to have you over there. And it's called Unfiltered with Tanya. I want to say hi to all my returning Titans. I see all here, and welcome into anybody that is new. So tonight we're going to talk about, I wanted to do this. Actually, this is why it was privated, because I wanted to do this live over the weekend, but then all of the stuff came out in the Sebastian Rogers case. And then they had the visual, they had that interview that he kind of blew up on. So there was a lot to kind of go over. So I pushed this back, which I'm glad, because now his parents have come out, his whole family, Caleb Harris's, and they've come out and they've talked to Jennifer Coffenduffer. And normally she's not my kind of lady, but this interview was really, really good. It was really good. So let me get Caleb up here, and we're going to be talking about him. Let me put me over to the side. So I don't know if you guys are all aware of Caleb. If you guys are not aware, let me know in the chat. Just like put a 1 in the chat if you know Caleb's case. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't know, because I could always go through the timeline that I made. But this gives us a little bit of the background on him as well. And he's from Texas. This is from Texas, and the person that Sebastian and Caleb have in common is Tony Baloney, Tony Mathis. So what I wanted to do was just kind of go over some interviews and stuff like that. Let me grab this. So I don't know if you guys got a chance last night to go over, this is about Sebastian's case, but to go over and watch Pascal's live. He, like yesterday during the day, he said he was going to step back from the case. And then he went on live last night around midnight, and he said he was not going to quit covering this case, or not step back, I guess. I don't know. But now the video is privated. And I'm like, what the heck? What the heck? Motor City Dog, you never heard of this one, or Gwen? Okay. You don't remember the details? Okay. There's not that many details, but we're going to give them to you. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Let me pull this up. Like, this might help too. Okay, we'll play this one. Okay. I will read over this, and then I will show you a video, because there's a video of Caleb, the last video of him. And then I will go over the timeline if we need to. I have, okay, it's not that long. It's like 10 pages, but my handwriting is kind of big, or my typing. So he's 21 years old. He has brown hair, brown eyes. He's 5'11". He weighs 180 pounds. He likes to go fishing, likes to hang out with his buddies, and they just got a new dog at their house. The Corpus Christi Police Department is requesting the public's assistance in locating 21-year-old male Caleb Harris. According to a Snapchat ping, Caleb was last seen at approximately 2:45 a.m. on Monday, March 4th, 2024, near his apartment complex. And he lives at the Cottages in the 1900 block of Ennis Jocelyn Road, near the campus of Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi in Corpus Christi, Texas. After letting his dog out, Caleb left behind his vehicle, keys, wallet, and ID. Also, he left his shoes. Caleb was wearing teal pants and a white shirt. Caleb's phone last pinged at 3 a.m. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of Caleb Harris, please contact the Corpus Christi Police Department at 361-886-2840. So let me actually grab this video. Let me see if I think they played inside this video. Okay. This is going to be the last like video of Caleb, and he's with his buddies, and they're just walking towards the apartment. Let me pull this up for you guys. And this might, jog your memory also. So they just got this little white fluffy dog. I think that's so cute. And that's what they're doing. They're just bringing the doggy back in from, being outside. Now, I don't know if he was wearing that hat when he left because he has the teal pants on and the white shirt in this video, but they didn't specify that. So maybe the hat was left at the house.
Take a look here. Caleb can be seen in the parking lot at his off-campus apartment complex off of Ennis Jocelyn around 1 a.m. He was with one of his roommates, a friend, outside playing with the dog. Caleb's face visible as he looked toward the Ring camera before they make their way back in the other direction on that night in early March.
And the search for Caleb Harris now in its third week. Just yesterday, his parents offering a reward of $25,000 for his safe return. Now, to create a sense of urgency for anyone who may have information and hasn't come forward yet, a deadline of March 31st has been placed.
They also actually they made the GoFundMe. I'm not GoFundMe. I'm sorry. The reward money is up to $50,000. So Caleb's family, I mean, they really want their boy back. We saw the videos. I don't know if you guys saw them, and we'll go through a couple tonight. His family, they're devastated, but they are powerful. They remind me a little bit of like the Chapin family, just a very strong unit, very strong unit. They stay pretty calm. I don't really know why Tony is even involved with their case to get involved with Sebastian's case, because you guys will see it. And I found an article too. I found an article when old Tony came in, and Tony has been trying to he's pulling the same stuff in Caleb's case as he's pulling in Sebastian's. You guys are not going to believe it. I was like reading this article and I was like, what am I reading? I forgot to tell you guys this, and I'll forget at the end of the live. Okay, side note, this is about a different case, but I want to let you know that we will be doing a live tomorrow around 5 o'clock, 5:15 Eastern Standard Time for the Brian Kohberger court hearing. It'll be live, and they're going to have a witness for the defense, and they said that if anything goes down, they're just going to cut the live, and then that's all we get to see. So, yep, both were barefoot, DM. Yeah, they both left barefoot. So Caleb, basically, he ordered food from Uber Eats. He was waiting on his Lunchables and like a dessert and a Red Bull. He was waiting on that because the next day he planned on going fishing, I believe. So he was getting everything kind of ready, talking to his dad, Randy, about that. He ordered the DoorDash, I think around like 11 or midnight, something like that. And the DoorDash got there, and the person that delivered the DoorDash list left it at the door because, they usually will. They'll just like leave it at the door. Maybe they'll knock and they'll take a picture and they leave it. So his roommates woke up around 11 o'clock the next day. They walked outside, one of the roommates did, and he saw the bag sitting there. And that's kind of what sparked all of this. So there was a rumor going around that there was a witness that saw, let me pull this up. That saw Caleb. We covered this on one of our lives. Where are we just at? So 1900 block of Ennis. Okay, I couldn't think of the first word. There we go. I'm going to try to show you. Okay. It's over here, I think. I'm trying to find like his apartments, but I don't think I'm in the right area. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I don't know how far this road is. Doesn't look like it's that far. Okay. I'll look this up as we're watching the video and let you know exactly where it's at. That way you have a better understanding of it. But I did want to, I wanted to show you guys exactly where the person said the where they saw him. So it was about a mile up the road from where he lives. And it's off of Market Street. I remember that. I remember that part. It was off of Market Street, and basically where it was is about a mile away. A guy said that he saw Caleb Harris, no shoes, with the dog. So it seemed like a credible eyewitness. Well, it turns out that eyewitness was vetted by Tony Mathis, Tony Baloney. And he was wrong. He was wrong. Caleb Harris's family come out and say, nope, that wasn't Caleb. So he's really making his mark, you know. He's really doing a great job being a spokesperson. Hey, Stephanie. Oh, I know. I really hope they both come back safe. I really, really, really do. I was devastated today when I heard the news about Madalena Kojikari's mom. I'll have to tell you guys that at the end. I cried. So that's another case that we cover on this channel, and it's hard. They're hard. So what I wanted to show you guys was I wanted to start. So I started a chart on the similarities in the two cases, and other than the shoes and being like missing people, and involved in missing people are involved in both same cases. So Sebastian and Caleb are both missing, and they both left without shoes. Also, what they planned to do was the same. So, like I just said, Tony was planning to go to like national media. He's telling these little local stations, "You're petty, we're going somewhere else." If it didn't work for Caleb, because we don't have Caleb, why are we trying the same damn thing with Sebastian? I'm going to do a little more digging to make sure it's all complete, and I added everything because it's a ton to the chart, and then I'll present it to you, and then we'll add more things as we go. But I wonder if, and maybe you guys can tell me this, I wonder if Tony is still working Caleb's case. I did see where Caleb's cousin had commented on Facebook, and she gave her email. And I kind of want to ask, like, is he still over there working your case? Is there anything I can do to get the word out? Things of that nature, But Caleb's dad, I wanted to go over some of their interviews. So, I wanted to go over their first interview, which was Caleb's dad. I'm pretty sure this was the first one. It was on March 6th, so 2 days after he was missing. And then I wanted to go over, there was a local station that had both of his parents on there, and then they have a small TikTok that they did. Then we'll go over the newest interview that they have. We'll go over the article first about Tony, and then we'll go over the newest article. The newest video. His whole family came together, did a video. I've watched some of it. It's extremely, extremely good. It's really good. They're a really good family. So yeah, tonight I want to focus on the interviews, like I said, and we will, we already went over the timeline. I think this timeline, I think that we pretty much got everything on here. But I will read it real quick. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can. Okay. Can I make it bigger? I could probably do that. Oh, right here. There we go. So 12:56 a.m. on Monday, that was 3/4/24, a doorbell camera at a nearby apartment captures Harris, his friends, and one of Harris's roommates in the parking lot playing with a puppy belonging to Harris and another roommate. Nothing appeared out of the ordinary, and the three young men returned to Harris's apartment. Their mutual friend departed shortly thereafter. At 2:20 a.m., the second of Harris's two roommates informed Harris that the roommates, is going to bed. Harris replies that he is going to stay up to order snacks via Uber Eats for his school lunch on Monday. I guess it was school lunch. I really want to find that apartment. If anyone remembers the exact address, let me know. Because I know it's the 1900 block, and I'm thinking it's these. Why don't I just put in the cottages? Maybe that's what I did last time, because we had it up before. Okay, I found it. Because I thought I could put this picture up as I'm reading the timeline. So let me put that up for you guys, because that'll be a little bit, better to look at. So his apartment, I don't know if you can see my cursor. But do you see, let me just zoom down. The fourth apartment over from the left is going to be their apartment. So just that's the apartment you're looking at. And I'll go ahead and I'll read through this as soon as I find out where I was. The second of Harris's two roommates informs Harris that he, the roommate, is going to bed. Harris replies that he is going to stay up and order snacks for Uber Eats from school Monday. And then at 2:44, Harris shares a Snapchat video with his younger sister showing Harris walking the puppy through what appears to be the apartment complex parking lot. And so, he is like probably around in this area, I would say, because it's like apartment parking lot. I don't know why I keep losing my spot, but I do. I'm actually going to unpin this, sorry, because I keep going back to read it and I'm like, where's it at? At 2:44, so this is 2:44. Did I read the same thing? Yeah, same thing. So 2:44, that's when he sends the Snapchat. At 3:03, Harris sends a Snapchat photo to a high school friend in San Antonio showing a small bridge over a drainage ditch on the 1900 block of Ennis Jocelyn, within a few hundred feet of the entrance to his apartment complex. And so let me back it up. This is the bridge, like right here. This is where, like the water right there, that's where he took his last Snapchat video. At 3:12, Harris's cell phone last shared location data with the nearest cell phone tower. At 3:20 a.m., the Uber Eats driver, I guess it was later than thought, delivers Harris's order to his apartment, leaving it outside the front door per the order request. So I guess they just requested, to go ahead and put it at the door. 11 a.m., one of Harris's roommates discovered the Uber Eats order outside of the front door and Harris's pickup truck parked in front of the apartment. Harris's wallet and keys were found in the apartment. All that appeared to be missing was Harris and his cell phone and his shoes, which is really strange. What's going on with people leaving their shoes behind, But that's the little bridge that they're talking about there. So I wanted to give you guys a little background. Now, I want to go over these interviews because I feel like they're telling. I really don't know how. I don't think that Randy, I'm going to say no. I don't think Randy asked Tony Mathis to come in on this. I really don't. I don't think that he asked him. I think that Tony weaseled his way or something into this crap and maybe if he comes in this chat, he can explain it to us because, I know he's everywhere. He really is. He does the mostest, but he's actually probably on the TikTok right now. He likes TikTok. Yeah, he was going fishing. That's what I thought. But it says on here that it said in the timeline he was going to school. And I'm like, what? And that was the original timeline. I thought he was going fishing too because maybe he went fishing that day because I know he wasn't going to go fishing by himself, is what his dad said. If he would have went fishing, he wouldn't have went alone. And it might be actually in this. It might be in this article or video we're going to watch. So I'll read this and then we'll watch the video. The family of missing Texas A&M student believe he is still out there and are hoping searchers will find Caleb Harris and bring him home. Actually, you know what? Everything that's said here, he's going to say in this video. So this was March 6th. So this is 2 days after Caleb is missing. And he's already on national news. He's already on News Nation. So keep that in mind.
Thank you for taking the opportunity. We're happy to offer it to you. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances.
Oh, it's all the way up.
What do you want people to know?
We're still positive. We're still in good windows. We're praying hard, and we've got just an immense amount of people helping today. From prayer to the authorities that are here have been phenomenal. We have the Texas Czar here. They're a search and rescue team. They brought in boats. They brought in people. They brought in the dogs this afternoon.
Why do we need Tony?
Find Caleb. He's out there, and we know he's out there. It's just a matter of where is he and what happened.
Randy, what are we working with in terms of what Caleb's about? Does he have any conditions, or is he on medication? Did he have any kind of habits or mental health issue? Did he have any enemies, any practices, anything that is indicative of what might have been?
Honestly, he really does not. He is just a all around 21-year-old kid that loves to fish. Obviously, all the pictures everybody's seeing, loves to hunt, and just that's what he enjoys, and loves the Lord, and just very very odd situation.
He has
No,
never
to
disappeared
answer your
before.
question, no,
He's not a kid.
sir.
He's never disappeared like this
Hello?
before. He doesn't like just take off and go fishing for a few days or anything like that.
No, not at all. And matter of fact, that's kind of the part of the rules is he has to have a friend with him, and luckily he's got two roommates that love to hunt and fish, and so he's always got somebody with him. He would never venture out at 3 a.m. To do anything like this. And if they're going duck hunting or fishing, yeah, they're going to get up and go at 5 a.m. Caleb's missing without anything. No shoes, no wallet, no. His truck was locked. His keys are in the house. There. He was preparing for school the next day by ordering
Well, it was school.
Uber Eats from
So yeah, it was school. I thought it was. The fishing part was him and his dad just talked about him going fishing and had I think he had his fishing gear out and stuff, and he was talking to his dad about it.
a convenience store. So we had his lunch and everything for the next day, and he had been texting me about what he was going to be fishing with, the next afternoon, because he prepares for that. Just a lot of preparation for the next day of just a normal day.
And just to make sure we have it right, I reported earlier, if you heard it, that he went out to walk his dog 1:45 in the morning. That wasn't unusual for him. He brought the dog back and then went back outside. Is that how you understand it?
Yes, he actually walked the dog at 2:44 a.m. is our timestamp on Snapchat, and then about 2:58 is when he brought the dog back, and then at 2:58 is when his phone went dead or turned off.
Randy, we're here for you. You let us know how to help. You let us know what information you want to get out, what you're looking for. We're a call away.
Thank you very much. Just keep him in your prayers, and we just want him home. That's the most important thing, and God's in control. He knows where he is.
All right. Well, I wish the family strength. And again, as soon as you figure out what you need, you know where we are.
Sorry, I was afraid that it was going to play the next video, but it did. It's going to. Okay. I was like, it's going to. So that's why I hurry up and switched the screen. But so that was Caleb's dad, first interview. 2 days, his son's missing. His face was a little red. He looked like he was tired and stuff like that. But I feel like he did a pretty good interview, especially for it being in the car. He's presentable. His demeanor, like he can talk, he's doing, he's doing it. He knows his son's out there and he wants to find his kid. They live like 6 hours away too. So it's not like they can just be right there with him all the time. Like they'd have to, travel to get there. He does have two roommates, like his dad said. They both like hunting and fishing. So he wouldn't have went out by himself. I believe that. He looks like he's a good boy, and he looks like if his parents, ask him, please don't do that, he looks like he would be the type that would not do it. So I wanted to show you guys this next interview, because this is going to be Caleb's both of his parents. I want to take the closed caption off. Okay. So since we got to hear from his dad, I wanted to do like the first interview, and then, I want to do this interview because then you can see both of them. And then this is going to be Caleb's mom and dad. And then after this, I want to show you their TikTok they did on Easter. And they're just a great family. They are, you can tell. And I really hope that they find Caleb. I have no clue. I'm really Usually, you have like a theory or something, but I really don't even have a theory here. To me, he wouldn't just get inside of a car with somebody, even if he knew them. If he didn't know them, I don't see that at all. But if he knew them, the dog was back at the apartment. So it's not like somebody maybe, hit his dog and that's what made him stop. And, he ended up getting like, unalived that way or something. It's nothing like that pops up, They are, Cheryl. They're very lovely. They really are. They remind me of the Chapin family. Just quiet but lovely people, So this is like the 2-minute video. We'll play through this one, and then we're gonna read that article about old Tony.
Melissa, thank you for that. Another big story that we're following tonight. We are hearing from the parents of a missing college student from New Braunfels.
Yeah, he's got a lot of descriptions and all of them good. Caleb Harris, though, was last seen on North Padre Island on March 4th. Those descriptions: big brother, protector, friend, all around good guy. Tonight, exclusively on News 4 San Antonio, we talk with the parents of missing New Braunfels native Caleb Harris. Determined to find their son, Caleb's parents, Randy and Becky Harris, are in Corpus Christi, where Caleb attends Texas A&M. They're in Corpus Christi. Tonight, we answer questions as the search is in its second week.
I still believe he's alive somewhere. And it's really hard to understand.
Hard for people who aren't like Randy and Becky Harris, whose hope and optimism are rooted in their faith.
Our prayer is that wherever he is recalling scripture. He is calling out and he feels a hedge of protection around him.
Their son, Caleb Harris, was up late in the early hours of Monday, March 4th. He messaged Randy his plans for the next day, class, then his favorite pastime.
Texted me about different lures and, stuff, YouTube stuff and stuff that, they're looking forward to going fishing the next day.
He sent his younger sister a Snapchat around 2:45 a.m. Then his phone went silent. It died or was powered off. Caleb had ordered Uber Eats. He went outside to wait. The driver arrived and left the food. Caleb was gone.
They did investigate the driver of the Uber Eats and they, so far what we've determined is that she was not involved.
Without shoes, without his car keys, without his wallet, just gone.
The CCPD are out all over town doing door-to-door searches, spot searches, anything, any kind of tips that come up, anything that comes in, they're on it immediately.
This week, the
Look at all
search
those people.
expanded.
We did some bloodhound searches, had Coast Guard out with their helicopters. We've had everything. As far as today goes,
Multiple pages have popped up on social media sites, mainly Facebook, dedicated to finding and sharing information about Caleb. Be wary of misinformation.
none of the other pages are by us, sponsored by us. We don't know anything about them. And quite frankly, we're not even looking at it. We just want to see our Caleb come home.
A young man with so much ahead of him.
Looking forward to working in Alaska this summer.
Ultimately, the Harris family is waiting for one call, the one announcing we found him.
Pure joy.
Pure joy.
I whisk him away and not let him go again.
Once again, after a recent drop in illegal border crossing.
sorry.
A large group of
You guys can tell that his mama, that is her pride and joy. You know, man, that family, they are amazing. They're an amazing family. And I just feel like, man, how did they get Tony on the team? You know, what did he say and what did he do? Because I know Tony done had to do something. There is no way, unless like he had to have put this thought into Randy's mind, because we've seen 2 interviews right now, by now. We saw the one from News Nation where it was just Randy 2 days after, Caleb was missing. He was determined to get his boy back. He didn't seem like, but he didn't seem like he was out of control with emotion to where he needed somebody to sit beside him, and then him and his wife do another interview. They did more than that before Tony came on into the squad, So let me show you this TikTok really quick. And then I'm going to, it's like 30 seconds. And then I'm going to read over the article where Tony became involved. So this is Caleb Harris's parents, and that's their dog. And I don't know the dog's name, but it's cute. And they tagged, if you see up here, they tagged Nina Glass. Nina is the searcher, if you want to call her that, that's coming in on Sebastian's case this weekend. Also tagged is that at 716 Girl Naughty. She is involved with Sebastian's case now. She's trying to be. even though Nina Glass has one video and it's 2 seconds long on her page for Sebastian, I don't know how she's even going into this case. We'll look at that too. It's just a rabbit hole I went down today. So this is Caleb's parents, and then I'll show you the Nina Glass video she did on Sebastian.
Hi, I'm Randy Harris.
And I'm Becky Harris. We're Caleb Harris's parents.
Oh, and I want to tell you, this was on March 28th, and he went missing March 4th.
I want to talk to you about what this weekend represents. It is Easter weekend, and so tomorrow I know that Jesus died for us on Good Friday, and then on the Sunday is coming when he rises again. And if you have a church that you belong to, please go. If not, find a church to go to this weekend.
Please continue to pray for Caleb Harris's safe return. Hashtag find Caleb Harris. Remember, hashtag find Caleb Harris. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't want it to get me with the music. That's Caleb's dad. He went up in the helicopter. He was messing around, I guess. And then I want to do the interview. Or actually, before we do the interview with Old Tone, let's read this article, because this article was like, what? And I was like deja vu. I was reading it and I'm like, what is going on? So the family of Caleb Harris announced Tuesday. So let me see, April 3rd. Let me get my calendar out, guys. April 3rd would have been Wednesday. So the 2nd, April 2nd. So a month and 2 days, or a month after, we'll say. The family of Caleb Harris announced Tuesday that it will be shifting its focus to national media and fundraising as the search for the missing college student nears the 1-month mark. Caleb's father, Randy Harris, appeared on YouTube Live Tuesday with Justin Shepard, and him again, he's been involved with these 2 cases, and I mean pretty closely. A true crime podcaster known better by his social media handle, Justin on TikTok. Randy Harris introduced his friend and coworker, Tony Mathis, whom Harris named as the new family spokesperson. Now, I don't know, after a month of them doing interviews, I mean, perfectly well, that they would need a spokesperson all of a sudden, you know? He asked me to get more involved in helping him with some of the interviews, especially trying to get more of a national exposure instead of a local exposure. Now, how the hell is Tony supposed to do that? I would surely, if I was Nancy Grace, let's say I was Nancy, right? If I was Nancy Grace and a father that was like Randy Harris, if it was Randy Harris, you know his personality, you've seen him, you know he is a genuinely, you can tell he's a good guy. If he came to me and he said, can I do an interview, with you? I want to talk about my son. And she would probably say, well, she did. They had an episode. 1,000% she did it. But I don't know how Tony Mathis has any say on national TV, national, news. If Tony Harris came to me and said, will you get my buddy this interview? His son's, missing. I would be like, what? I would, because that's exactly how Tony would say it. Or he'd go to TikTok. He likes to do TikTok because it gets deleted right after the live. So he was mad when somebody was recording him the other night. He's like, figures. He asked me to get more involved. Okay, I read that, sorry. And it says here, and he said this before, we got a lot of B and C team guys, and look who they're talking to. They are talking to a local news station right now while they're saying this. We got a lot of B and C team guys to start, and it kind of diminished the value of the case. What? Normally, it is your local channels that pick it up first. But you had News Nation 2 days after he was missing. What do you talk, Tony? You didn't have it. Randy Harris got it. Randy Harris got that interview. Yeah, so no, one is his ex-wife. So Nina Glass is and I wanted to go over that TikTok. I forgot. We'll do it after this. So Nina Glass is a person that Tony works with. We went over it last night a little bit. She has a felony record. I don't mind people working with a felony. I mean, it happens. But she's not supposed to be around children because of that felony. So why in the hell would you bring her in to work cases where there is a child involved? I don't get it. I never will get that. But that's what's happening. And it says, oh yeah, and then this is what he says about this. We got a lot of, I'm going to read this over. We got a lot of BNC team guys to start, and it kind of diminished the value of the case, especially with what was going on with Riley Strand and some of these other things. What other things? You mean Riley Strand? You know, Riley got Brian Enton of News Nation. Randy Harris got Cuomo. He's like a senior anchor or whatever. He's above Brian Enton. I mean, like, I love Brian Enton. I'm not saying nothing bad, but you know what I mean? This guy's weird. And Good Morning America and some of these guys very early. We were doing interviews with a lot of local guys. Like, he doesn't even speak well. Strand was the 22-year-old University of Missouri student who disappeared March 8th after a night of drinking on Broadway Street in Nashville. His body was found on March 22nd, and police said his death appeared to be accidental. Oh, sorry. Caleb Harris has been missing since he disappeared in the early morning hours of March 4th, a foggy morning that did not leave many clues or video evidence. The Harris family doubled the reward Sunday for information that leads to the safe return of Caleb Harris from $25,000 to $50,000. Mathis and Randy Harris said that number might need to continue to rise. Now, I don't know why they need to put more money into the reward. I think that a $50,000 reward is substantial. I mean, if they want to do more, do more, but make sure you know where that money's going. We've been blessed with people donating, but as I sent you the GoFundMe earlier, we need to continue to raise money, Mathis said. And this is Tony speaking. We're getting to a point where if we don't continue to push the GoFundMe, then this is going to end up being a financial problem for Randy as well as an emotional problem. And that's the last thing we want. The Harris family says it has 2 active fundraisers. This is the one for the reward. The one for the reward is up to $24,000, and it's Tony Mathis. That's the organizer there. And then the other one is one for expenses. And I didn't mean to do that, but I did it anyway. Okay, so this is the other one that's for expensive, $68,673. This wasn't a $100,000 goal before. They changed this goal. This goal was like $50,000, I think, before. Okay. And this person's Emily Witch. And they're both from Texas. Or no, what was the thing between Texas? I'll have to remember because I had these people all charted out and everything and how we knew who was who and all that. And it's under my Caleb Harris playlist too. The biggest thing right now is that we've upped the reward now, and depending on how long this plays out, there's the possibility that reward will have to continue to go up, Mathis said. 3 News will continue.
It's hard to believe, but hurricane season is just around the corner, which means it may be time to go review your homeowner's insurance.
Okay, stop playing stuff on this. I hate when that does that. So now it says here, 3 News will continue to report on the Caleb Harris case as we get new updates because, they just got told pretty much that they're not nothing. Pretty much. We're going national. Bye. You're the B or the C and D team. You're not even the B team. It says, and new updates from police or the Harris family, or if there are local events in the area. For example, a candlelight vigil is planned for Thursday evening at the Corpus Christi Memorial Garden to light Caleb's way home. 3 News will cover that vigil. 3 News will also continue to ask questions of police and ask the Harris family for interviews, despite recent interview request rejections and the family's focus on national media. What, Tony? So you're not going to put his face out there because it's a local station? Are you smoking crack, Tony? Is that what you're doing? Or is that it? Are you smoking crack, Tony? Like, seriously, you would think that you would put his name and face anywhere you could put it. And we're not talking TikTok where it deletes after you're done with the live. That does nothing for nobody. Only the 300 people that are in there listening to you. Man, this guy's an idiot. He gets on my nerves. He really does. He gets me. If he was, he's one of those people. He has a face not even a mother would love, We need a larger reach, Mathis said. Randy Harris added that he has been on with Nancy Grace and would like to be on John Walsh's new show, as well as networks. Wonder who put that in your head, Randy. We were on with News Nation Tuesday, Harris added. We'll also be on Fox and Friends Wednesday morning, which we're excited about. Excited? What do you mean? Why are we excited? Really, why are we excited? We shouldn't be excited for that. Like, come on, Tony Mathis. Okay, so yeah, that's how he kind of came on board. But I think he slithered his way in here. I don't know for sure, but I do. I don't, but I do. Because there is no way that Caleb's family was doing just fine with these, with these interviews. I think that they were doing great. They got national coverage 2 days after Caleb was reported missing. They didn't need Tone. I think Tony needs him. And who does? Okay, I'm sorry, but who can be a crane operator 8 to 10 hours a day and then come home and give 8 hours of yourself for free to a missing person family every single night? He says he does that. I'm sorry. I know I'm here every night, but I'm here 5 hours. Like, I sit here and then I do like probably 6 hours, do my research, come on for an hour or so. Like, get what I need for the night. It's crazy to me. It's craziness. So this is Tony's first interview that I could find with Randy. I hate when it does this. Let me play it and then rewind it back.
Early Texas
And
this
I'm
morning.
sorry. This is the big one. This is Fox News. They're so excited. We're going to be on Fox News. So they came onto Fox News and do I hit that to cancel? Shoot. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate this stupid thing. Let me just play the video. But no, they went on to Fox and Friends. This is when, the one he was excited about. He doesn't even answer any questions until he's literally asked a question. I thought he was the spokesperson. If you need somebody to sit beside you to help you, I'm sure your wife, I'm sure Caleb's mom would have been there. No problemo. Actually, before we do this, let's go back to Nina, because I forgot about Nina. Let me show you Nina. Let's go from here. She was live earlier, but when I was listening to it, she wasn't talking about much. Okay. So this is her video for Sebastian, right? She only has only one video for him. I looked through, I only saw the one. And this is it. That's it. That was it. That was all of it. That 2 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 2-second video. A 2-second video, y'all. 2 seconds. Why is she coming over here to help search for him? She doesn't care. Like, really? That woman, Nina, is something else. Okay, I saw a picture of her. I wonder if she's on any of these. Because she was live. I don't want to see your nails, lady. I want to see your face. I think she might be on one of these. Nope. These are just like, she just does flyers, I guess. Like, okay. Okie dokie. But she's the search and rescuer that's coming. Yeah, that was the video she made for Sebastian. She's made a couple for Caleb. Actually, I think like, 3. I think she's actually, is she on one of these? I could have sworn I saw her on an actual video. Maybe not. She just plays the same thing for a minute. Probably so she can get monetized. I don't know how long you have to be on there, but I'm sure you have to be on there a certain amount of seconds. So yeah, that's all she's done for Caleb too. Like, it's nothing. Like, what are you doing? You have a TikTok page that has like 39,000 or 30-some thousand. I know I heard it's really easy to be bigger on TikTok, but like still 39.1. And this is the video we get. 1, 2 slides. Wow. That took all of 2 minutes to make on Canva. She is looking for money. She's already scammed. Oh, she's already scammed. I feel like Caleb's family. Yeah. It's like, what's going on with these people? It's the same YouTubers too that are going and getting in this little group. It's so weird to me. It's the same ones that do it every case. It's so weird. Like, everything about Caleb and Sebastian's case is it's what is going on. What is going on here?
This morning, the search continues for missing Texas college student Caleb Harris, who was last seen in the early morning of March 4th.
Just a reminder, this is going to be Tony's first interview. He's excited, he said.
The 21-year-old vanished from his off-campus housing, seen on a doorbell camera about 12:59 a.m., and then telling his roommates he was staying up to order food, sending Snapchats about 3 o'clock. The food was delivered, but his roommates found it outside their door with no sign of Caleb or his cell phone. His family has doubled the reward to $50,000 for more information. Caleb's father, Randy Harris, and the family spokesperson, Tony Mathis, join us right now from Corpus Christi. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Randy,
I forgot he said good morning.
Your son ordered some food on Uber, and it showed up, and
Can we just appreciate Tony's face here? He always has that dumb look on his face.
he was never there to pick it up. But his phone was pinging at about 3 o'clock. And then what happened?
At 2:44, he snapped a picture to my daughter of the new puppy they had gotten that night. It was his roommate's puppy, and ordered Uber Eats right after that. Just a real typical Lunchables, apple pie, and Red Bull. They would normally go to school the next morning and then get out and go fishing, and that would be the fishing lunch.
Right.
But his phone quit or was turned off at 2:58 a.m.
And I know that it sounds like the authorities have cleared the roommates and they've cleared the Uber driver of being
Absolutely 100%.
And they've cleared the Uber driver as well. So have they found the phone? Do they know where his keys are, his vehicle, stuff like that?
How could they do that? Like,
not found the phone. That seems to be the only item that we're missing. We have his keys, we have his truck locked. The dog's back in the apartment. There's nothing else missing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got his iWatch, his iPad, his MacBook. Everything is, in the apartment. The best we can tell, what you see in that video there, and maybe a cell phone. That's it.
Yeah.
And we have not found it.
And Randy, I know your wife and your daughter have been involved in the search as well there in Corpus Christi. Tony, you're encouraging people to check their surveillance doorbells, see if they might possibly have video of Caleb that night, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's 2024, and I mean, the odds of somebody disappearing without a trace and nobody knowing anything is slim to none. So we just feel like the word hasn't got out.
He says that the same thing.
And we do believe
He says the same thing in Sebastian Rogers' case.
somebody knows something, and
right.
Try to put yourself in this family's situation. If it were your son or brother that was missing, what would you want people in the community to do?
Absolutely. Well put. And Randy, I understand Gabby Petito's parents reached out to you.
We actually reached out to and spoke to Joe and just to.
Randy, talk to Joe Petito, not Tony. What's going on here? Randy, you were doing such a good job. You should be a spokesperson after your son comes home.
Kind of get some help. He was wonderful to talk to us, and he'll give us some advice, and he just left us an open line to talk to him as well.
Okay. I know you don't know where he is, and that's why you're putting out the word. Tell us a little bit about Caleb before we go.
That's a long story. He's a great kid from a young age. Loves the outdoors. Getting an environmental science degree. Wants to work in the industry somewhere. Maybe as a game warden or something in that along those lines or something else. 100% preparing for life. I mean, signed his lease, was getting ready to go fishing the next day. He was texting me up until 10 o'clock, pictures of fishing lures that he was going to be using the next day. And we text back and forth, fun, videos. He had just seen his mom Friday and Saturday. She came down just to hang out with him and his roommates. And, just an all around 21-year-old college student that just loves life.
Yeah, he sounds like a great kid.
He is.
folks have just seen his images. If you've got more information, contact the local police, or particularly they're in Corpus Christi. If you have more information, call that number 361-826-2950. Randy and Tony, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Having us.
Indeed. For more information as well, we've got a link to their GoFundMe page. Go to foxandfriends.com.
Okay. Let's close out of that. So basically, that was Tony. I mean, he's like that in every interview. He doesn't do shit. He doesn't do anything. Like, what are you doing, Tony? You can fake it till you make it, you know? And he's doing the same thing on Caleb's case as he's doing on Sebastian's. We're going national. We're getting the big media. Randy already had big media. He had News Nation the second day in. He said they had drones, helicopters, searchers. They were doing it big. And I'm wondering if anybody has quit since old Tony has come in. I wonder if anyone's quit on Caleb's case. I'm going to find that out, and I'm going to let y'all know. Ooh, Texas Roadhouse for Boo's birthday. Oh, that sounds good, Ashley. That came out of nowhere, but I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'm so hungry right now. I'm not even really hungry, guys. I just think I am. I probably just ate like an hour ago. So I wanted to show you guys this interview that Caleb Harris's family did. It was really good. I'm not a huge fan of Jennifer Coffindaffer. She's not.
True crime.
Oh, there she is. You know, people either love her or they hate her. You know what I mean? But she's going to talk about Caleb Harris, and she's going to talk to his family, and they are incredibly strong, incredibly kind. And this interview was a day ago. So you know what? I wonder if this was technically like 2 days ago or a day ago. Because why couldn't Tony be on this interview too? He went home Sunday or Monday, I would say, after the vigil. I think it was last night he said he was going to drive home or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe he was there longer. But if you're working Caleb's case and you work with Caleb's father, you think you would be there. And Caleb was like the first case. I don't know how this works if you have two separate cases and you're a spokesperson. I don't think that you would be a spokesperson for two different cases at the same time, because that just sounds weird. Like, oh, got to go to this state, got to go to this state. You wouldn't know which family needs you for what. You know, it's very weird. Yeah, I think we're getting pizza. I was like, I'm hungry. I texted him and said that because I know we're going to play this video, so I'll be fine. And I'm usually always on camera, but tonight my hair's wet and I'm looking crazy. I took a shower earlier. So I'm not looking as pretty as Miss Jennifer Coffindaffer. But this interview is a little bit longer, so I might speed it up a little bit just to see. If it's too fast, though, we'll take the speed back down to normal. But if you guys do not mind, hit the like button for me. My video, I accidentally put it on private today, so I don't think a lot of people got the notification. And I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize I did that. So this is going to be Jennifer. She's going to talk to Caleb Harris's family. I guess we could just kind of scoot along. Oh, there they are. Okay. Look at that beautiful family. Oh, is that his grandparents back there? Oh, my lordy. Where's the dog? Beautiful home. Beautiful family. So I'm going to go ahead and play this here. Thank you all again for being here. Oh, thanks, Mary Beth. I appreciate that. I try.
Oh, Caleb.
Whoa, that was loud. Was that loud for y'all? That was loud for me. Let me go up a little bit.
Caleb Harris's family. How are you?
Good.
We are so glad to have you here. I just introduced you all to the audience. But of course, I'd like you each to put your face to the name I gave. So Randy, if we could start with you and move across the bottom row and go up to the top row, that would be great.
Okay. I'm Randy Harris.
I'm Andy Harris. And I'm Caleb's mom, Becky Harris.
I'm Pop.
He said he's Pop.
I'm Nana. I'm Janet.
Nana.
I'm Jeff, Caleb's uncle.
You know, I'm just so grateful that you could all gather here tonight. I know this is probably the first time you've been able to come together
online, if you will, as a family to reach out to the community and ask for Caleb's name, Caleb's image, Caleb's story to be told. As I spoke to you earlier, I think it's so important to make Caleb really come alive in this segment and to show the audience what he meant to you all, what he was like. So I'm going to ask kind of a series of questions, and I'd really like to start with you, Becky. I have a question for you. When you first found out you were going to have a baby and found out it was going to be a baby boy, what was that moment like? Where were you at, and how did you tell Randy?
Well, Randy was with me, and whenever we found out for sure that we were having a baby and that he was going to be a boy, and in the doctor's office, and it was very
We're lighting
exciting.
up.
We had worked hard. We had been trying to get pregnant for a while, and so it was a joy to know that he was coming.
That's great. Nana, I want to go to you next with this one. So now you find out you're going to be a grandma. Was this your first grandchild?
Yes.
Wow. And so what was that like for you? Were you helping out with the nursery? Were you all of you? Tell us about it.
Well, that's kind of my background anyway. And so, Becky and I got our heads together and, planned his nursery, and it was ready to go whenever that sweet boy got here. And I'll just never forget the day he was born. It was a fall, crisp day, and it was beautiful outside, and it just made everything wonderful.
What was his date of birth?
Me?
Yeah, go ahead, Nana.
Well, September 24th, 2002.
September 24th. So I can just picture that day as you describe it. So the next question is for you, Papa. Tell us about after Caleb was born, kind of your first memory of him in terms of running, playing, crawling. Kind of was he jabbery? What was he like as a baby?
Yeah, and Caleb didn't talk.
That's cute.
He was kind of silent. He listened. He knew every word that you said, but it took him a while to speak. So anyway, we lived out kind of a way, but when we went visiting, it was always fun to play with. We lived in a 2-story house, and I'd go upstairs to play with him. And the funniest part about it, when he was a couple of years old, we were on the way back from Grapevine where they live, and we were on the way back, and I get this phone call, and Becky said, Caleb says he can't take a nap. He said, when you were here, he said, Pop gave me some Dr. Pepper, and I can't go to sleep with the caffeine's keeping me awake.
Oh, that's funny. So he learned an important lesson about caffeine and Dr. Pepper, I guess, at a very young age.
I told him, I said, now don't tell your mom that he might keep you awake. And so he used every bit of that.
Oh, that's funny. Jeff, what about you? What's one of your first memories about Caleb?
Just, I guess never knew to haven't really had kids like that in the family, and just seeing them and holding them and, seeing, extension of all and, our family is just a blessing. Immediately, it was just such a great feeling. I've got, pictures from him when he was a baby, when he was a year old, and we went out on the lake for the first time, on my old boat we have and still have, and we've been out every summer since, and many, dozens and dozens and dozens of trips to the lake with Caleb, and I've been blessed with all the pictures, and I look at the pictures every day, and he's such a blessing to our family, and the memory started, my sister called me, when he was born. I remember that day. I was leaving work. I remember that conversation, and from that day to today, he's just a blessing to each and every one of us. Just, being around him. He's respectful. He's such a gentleman. He thinks of others first. He hugs you. He shakes your hand when he comes into a room. It's not about him. It's about whoever he's talking to. Can't say a bad thing about him. Just a blessing to everyone every life that he's touched.
That is such a great synopsis, I think. You just so eloquently put it together. It was really nice. Now, Andy, I know obviously you don't remember Caleb as a baby because you came after, and we heard discussed by Papa that he didn't talk very much when he was little. But I want to hear your impression or what you remember. You would have been much older, and of course, by then Caleb would have been older. What's your first impression of your big brother? What was your relationship like with him?
Well, when we were little, I want to say, I don't know exactly the age. He would make up these games outside with his friends, and I was always trying to get in on it, always trying to figure out what they were doing. It was just really interesting to watch him.
I did the same thing to my big brother. I always wanted to be
Very
around him.
interactive. Was Caleb the sort that always had a lot of friends, or was he more of a loner? Randy, can you answer that for us?
He always had friends. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
A lot of friends around. So when it came to your house, tell us what that was like, just having a house full of, I'm picturing all these boys and buddies and Andy's buddies. Was that what the house kind of was like, Becky?
Yes. There would be a lot of boys that are all stinky from middle school on, come in the house, and they all like to make some contraptions and play in the backyard. You never knew what they were going to do from the time that they were pretty young. And he had a lot of the same friends until he was a senior in high school. And after a football game, those same boys would come through and be a part of Caleb's life. And so our house was always full of adventurous boys running around and having a good time. A lot of laughter. You camped out in your house.
They did. They literally would. There's some mornings we'd wake up and there'd be 6 or 7 kids there.
Wow, it sounds like just such a house full of life and stuff going on, and that sounds great. So tell me, now I'm going to take you up a few years. I saw this adorable picture of Caleb in Boy Scouts. I want to hear all about that. Was he like a big Boy Scouter or Cub Scouter? Did he move on to try to get his Eagle badge, or was it kind of just a flash in the pan, gave it a shot and didn't like it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we did the Cub Scouts, and that's the picture you saw. And we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. We built a little derby car. We had the derby races, and then we did some camp outs up in the hill country, and that was a lot of fun. But that was didn't pursue that any further than that.
Yeah, I just loved seeing that picture. It was really cute. So once he got into, say, junior high, that sort of age, I guess his main hobbies became fishing and playing the guitar, would you say? Becky?
Especially with guitar. I mean, he loved to bike. Yeah, and skate. I mean, I can't tell you how many skateboards we probably bought, even when he was really young. Pop and I went to a really cool skate shop and got him his first index board. And our neighbor was not a pro, but just skated a lot. And so he was always interested in skating, and then went on into the mountain biking, BMX type biking, bicycling. And so there's some pictures out there, of him even as far back as junior high, I guess, getting out and doing bike trails, loved bike trails. And then that's when he started having a passion more for guitars, and he had piano lessons how old was he? About 8 years old, taking piano lessons.
Wow, just sounds so well-rounded. I think as I listen to this, it's all the things I think that I would have taught my boys to do that I didn't. How to play the piano and fish and do all these things. It's really seems like such a wonderful wonderful upbringing. What about girls? Did he have a lot of girlfriends? Andy, I'll let you answer this one.
Oh, he had maybe a couple, but he definitely cares about his fishing. And earlier in the years, he loved his Nerf guns and bikes, paint guns.
That's so funny. So what about into high school? Wasn't he a pretty big high school athlete? And if so, what were his sports, Becky?
He enjoyed the team sports, and he liked baseball, and he liked football, and he did try his hand at golf as well. And so it was more than playing the game itself. It was more about the team, and he loved to support his team and being a part of it.
Now I heard rumors that he liked to cook, or at least could cook. Nana, were you behind the cooking?
No, I'm not going to say I was behind him cooking, but he did call me. I think it was that first year, or maybe it was last year. He called me ahead of time. He had missed his mom's birthday, who was during the week, and he called me and asked me if he could come over and cook dinner for everybody and surprise his mom. And so he sent me a list of ingredients that was unbelievable. And so we got the ingredients, and he came over and we cooked together a dinner for his mom's birthday.
Wow. What did he make? I'm dying to know. What did he
make? Some of it was
ratatouille. Ratatouille,
yeah, ratatouille.
Ratatouille. It was very well put together. It was plated well, like you would get at a restaurant, and it was, of course, with my mom behind him, that it was all his idea and what he wanted to do.
Ratatouille, of all things. Like, I'm 50 years old and I've never made ratatouille.
Well, I can tell you too, Dana and Pop are really good about, with both of them, entering cookies and pastries and things like that in the county fair. And they won several blue and red ribbons in the county fair, cooking cookies and different types of pastries for showing at the fair. So yeah, he got a triple ribbon one. Yeah.
Wow, that is pretty cool. I mean, it just paints such a picture of somebody that was so well-rounded. Nana, can you tell us a little bit about Caleb's personality?
Well, he was pretty even-keeled. You didn't see him get real angry. I mean, he would get angry at times, but he didn't get angry very often, and he didn't get down very often. He was pretty even in his temperament. He was very easy to be around. Sometimes we could have disagreements, but we could talk about them logically and without a lot of emotion. So he was easy to talk to.
So you said initially, Papa, that he wasn't a big talker. Did he ever become a big talker, or is Caleb more of a quiet guy?
Oh yeah, definitely. He became a big talker all at one time. He was quiet for the longest time, but once he started talking, it never quit. He just kept talking. So, and it went on and on. He was very well rounded. I mean, from a young boy all the way through. Him and I did go-karts together. We worked go-karts, a couple of different ones. I mean, even all the way through to, even as, I think it was his first guitar that he got. He came over to the house one day, just him and I, and he was talking, and he said, Mom said, I would like to get a guitar. And I said, really? I said, what do you think? And he's a researcher. I mean, even at a young age, he researches everything. Even all the way through, anytime he wants something, anytime he's looking for something, he researches it to where he knows everything about it. So he came over to the house, and this is like, I don't know, August, September. And he said, I like the guitar. I said, really? He said, let me show you. So we went upstairs on the computer, and he showed me this guitar that he wanted. And I said, really? I said, why do you want that? He said it has instructions to pay with electric. It's like $279 or something like that. I said, do you want it for Christmas? He said, yeah. I said, well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and order it. If you keep a secret between now and Christmas, we'll order it now. When it comes in, I'll show it to you. And then at Christmas time, you have to be surprised that you got it. And the funniest part
Oh,
was
Pops.
Christmas come in, and he opened it up and said, wow, he said, a brand new guitar. And he was just shocked. He kept the secret and was surprised at Christmas. That's Caleb.
That is funny. Now that is a good story to tell. That is a good story to tell. He acted like he was so surprised.
It's a great story.
And then look at the family. They all are so smiley, except for his sister. My gosh, my heart breaks for her. My heart breaks for her. You can tell she's just very heartbroken. But like his mom lights up that just them talking about him. And it's just Jennifer did a really good interview here. I'm
I
gonna
thought
speed it
you
up just a little bit, but if it's too fast, we'll slow it back
were
down.
going to say it was going to be like the Dr. Pepper. That he told us. But no, he learned. That is a cute story. Well, I think, hearing all these warm emotions, hearing the type of person he was, I think really comes out, hearing these little details. And I love these little stories and anecdotes. But I want to talk about what it was like on March 4th and what it's been like now that months have gone by. Nana, I want to start with you.
Well, Becky and I had been together at lunch that day. A friend of ours came into town. Their daughter came into town, and we met her in downtown San Antonio, and we had lunch together. And we came home, and Becky went on her way, and I went on mine at the house, and I got a phone call from Becky saying that Caleb was missing. And I thought, missing from what? And so that's how I found out that Monday afternoon. And we were just devastated. But I really thought that, oh, well, this will just be, 2 days and they'll find me. But the boys had already done so much of, looking and searching on their boys, meaning his roommates, looking for him that they were without a doubt knew that something had gone on and he was missing by the time we all found out.
Andy, how did your parents tell you, and what were your initial thoughts?
I was actually out with my mom. We were getting my passport done. And just as we stepped out, we got a call from one of his roommates saying, like, hey, Caleb been missing since 2 o'clock this morning, and what we know is more now. But and I was just thinking, oh, that's so weird. That's not like him. That I never would have thought that it would go on for as long as it did, or I thought that it was going to be resolved in a couple of hours. We had to drive separately home.
Well, it's a perfect segue into, I think, a very important point for everybody that's listening, everyone that will be tuning in. And that is that a lot of times when people hear these stories, about a young 21-year-old young man and the hour of the night, right? He was last seen at around 3 a.m. There were a couple of Snapchats, one to you, Andy, and then one to a friend in Colorado. And then his phone went completely dead at about 3 a.m. Randy, I know you know the exact moment. 2:58. So a lot of people wonder, and again, I know in talking today to Police Chief Green, Assistant Chief Green, that you have to think about every scenario, right? You can't just have tunnel vision when somebody disappears. You have to look at all of the possibilities. And one of those possibilities that had to be considered was that he just sort of walked away, if you will, from his life for whatever reason. And we had such a great conversation earlier today with Nana and with Randy about why that just isn't a possibility. And I think it's really important for our listeners to hear that from each of you, because you all knew him. You lived with him. You ate with him. You saw this little boy grow up into a man. So if I could please start with you, Mama. Becky?
So I had just spent the weekend with Caleb just prior to him going missing. And so we had a great time together and he was happy. He showed me all the places he loves to go. It was just a really great time. We walked on the beach for a mother-son time together. And I left with my heart feeling full and, looking forward to seeing him again. And so I know that he was in a really good place. He was enjoying his classes. He even talked about enjoying a couple of his professors and he had a great group of friends he loved to go do things with, like fishing that we all know. And but also he wouldn't have walked out if he were just to leave. He wouldn't leave his possessions behind, like his wallet and his keys and his shoes, that kind of thing.
Well, actually, it was you, Papa, that said earlier that he's a researcher. He plans. He seems like I'm picturing him as being one of these people who, if say you were going to take a hiatus from your normal life and routine of family, it would have been planned. So to be barefoot, to be without keys, to be without a car, to be without money, to be without identification, that seems huge when you think about who Caleb Harris was as a person. Nana, what are your thoughts on this?
I think because that he had planned things so well, he had spent some time that evening talking to some friends that went to school other places, and they all had the spring break. We were a week away from spring break at the time. And so they had plans to meet up, during the week off. They were planning on being during the Broncos. And so he made those plans. He had signed a lease on his apartment. One of his roommates, his family or friends of mine, I've known them for a long time. And so, there would be no reason that I could see. He also, there was some talk about his job in Alaska. Well, that came about because we have some extended family, I call them extended family, that work and live up there. And they had been here just previously and talked to Caleb about working up there for the summer. So it wasn't like he was going to some job that he didn't really know he was involved. He felt very comfortable to go and to be with his family, and because he had known them most of his life. And so, there were a lot of good things that were coming up in his life that just it wouldn't make sense for him to take off.
Randy?
Okay.
Anything else stick out to you? I mean, now we know the fact that it was disorganized, that he's not disorganized, that he had plans, this great job in Alaska, which for an outdoorsman, there could be about nothing better than a summer in Alaska. He was going to be with friends, the planning of signing his lease, Becky talking to us about him being just in a good place. And I know we all know as parents, those of us that are parents, what that means. That's when your kiddo is just, things are going good and they're in a good place. Anything to add to that, Randy?
Sure. Even Sunday, he'd been fishing with some friends. When he got back, he was texting me, funny fishing videos, and then going back to his planning. He was planning on a particular place he was going to go fishing, and he was texting me pictures of the different lures that he's going to use the next day, because he was very focused. Not just throw a shrimp on a hook. He's very, very focused about different baits that he would be using, things like that. So he was always texting me stuff like that. So it goes back to that planning. Planning his lunch the next day, planning where they're going to go fishing, planning, like I said, the apartment. He's already signed a lease with a new roommate, additional new roommate that he's known since 4th grade. So there's just so many things that that we're looking forward to the future with him. And then actually not having, like we said, his keys, his wallet, his shoes, even the pants he was wearing, Mom had just bought and getting ready to go to Alaska. Those were some pants that we bought specifically so he would have up there. So everything's looking forward to the future.
Andy, I want to hear from you about this just a little bit. Do you think there's any possible way that Caleb, that your brother who you grew up with, ever would walk out just all of a sudden on his life barefoot?
I think that when I heard somebody say that would even be a possibility, I just immediately was like, no, that is not who Caleb is. We have a very close-knit family. We are together a lot. He calls us almost every day. Would be unheard of for him to just walk off, and it's not even possible.
Andy, I want to
not
leave
even
it at that for
possible.
this question because you say
I wonder what mom means about that. Like, that's not even possible for him to walk away.
it so beautifully. It's not possible for the Caleb, and it's important, I think, for our audience to hear this because a lot of people, a reason a case can kind of go cold in media is because everybody just assumes, that maybe they left on their own accord or that there's nothing to be looking for in a sense. And it just couldn't be further from the truth in the case of Caleb Harris. Something happened to Caleb Harris. He didn't just get up at 3 o'clock in the morning with no shoes on and walk out on his life. And it's so important, I think, for everyone to hear that. And I appreciate each of you talking about that particular component. I do want to move forward to the investigation. First of all, last time we were together, I was with Randy and Tony, your family friend, regarding Caleb's timeline. And a lot has been made about the dog, the little 8-year-old white dog that was actually, I believe, a grandparent's dog. She could no longer handle it. And so these boys that lived in this apartment, including Caleb, kind of were all going to take care of it and all kind of have this dog. And at one point, it was believed that Caleb was last seen under a bridge, but that has since been dispelled. And so bring us back now to the actual timeline, Randy.
Well, that we know of, he was on the phone for about 71 minutes playing video games with a friend in Colorado till about 10:15. His roommate brought the new dog home. It came from his roommate's family. And they started playing with the dog probably around 10:15, 10:30, just doing all kinds of stuff, getting excited about it, texting us pictures that, hey, we're going to go get a life jacket for it tomorrow, that kind of stuff so they can ride, can ride on the kayaks. They fast forward to about 1 o'clock, there's a Ring camera with a roommate and a future roommate, and they're outside playing with the dog. And then at 2:44, he snaps Andy a picture of the dog, walking the dog, orders his Uber Eats lunch for the next day. And then at 2:58 is when his phone went dead or turned off. And there's some anomalies out there of another chat that he sent to a friend after the phone went off, and then possible ping, but those both occurred after the phone was not working. So there's really no evidence that phone really did that, other than it's just an anomaly. It could have happened. You could have sent those a lot earlier, and the phone could have actually connected to a tower a lot earlier. It just happened to show up, within about a 12-minute time frame after his phone went dead.
Right, that makes sense. We talked about that earlier, where sometimes a phone call can be made, but when it's actually received on the other end is a little bit later. So that makes a lot of sense. So law enforcement, I know, believes that it truly went dead, if you will, his phone at 2:58, and that phone has never been found, and nor has any clothing, anything to have to do with Caleb. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, there was something you mentioned, and that was that Andy, at 2:44, he snapped you a picture of he and the new dog. Is that right?
Yes.
And we know that the dog was back at the apartment. In other words, that next day found back at the apartment. So obviously he would have had to take the dog back. What was in the background, you recall, when he took a picture of himself and the dog?
It was a very short clip of just him walking the dog. It was late, so it was dark. The only thing in the video is just the dog and what looks like to be a sidewalk, or
It was a parking lot.
Yeah.
You could see stripes next to the cars.
I see. And so you saved that chat. You don't have it where your chat comes in and disappears necessarily.
Yes.
So you were able to see the chat. Randy was able to see the chat, and other law enforcement. So it was in the parking lot. So then he snaps that, and then that's when the last place we see him is it's across the street, right, at a bridge. So he presumably then puts the dog up and then crosses the street and goes over this little bridge where then another snap occurs. Is that right?
If that's when it was. Again, that was at 3:03, but that would have been after the phone went dead. So we really don't have a good timeline on that particular chat.
Okay. But so that chat we don't have a timeline on. So the only chat that we know, or snap, that is good is the one to Andy. And then we know the precise time that the phone went dead.
Correct.
Okay.
And then he did order Uber Eats at 2:45.
Okay, 3 minutes after. But as far as the triangulation of the phone, do we know exactly where that phone is when it triangulated?
No, we don't. Originally, when they first started looking at everything, it was a good mile away down at a church area. So of course they did a lot of searches right there immediately. But then once some other authorities were able to triangulate additionally, it was at another location about a mile away still, but it was still close. 2 fields, 2 roads further up north near kind of the hospital pain center area. But again, they never could determine that that's exactly where it triangulated to pinpoint it.
So as far as you know, even with the FBI being involved, they were never able to triangulate exactly where his phone was when it went out of service or when it called Uber Eats?
The best we would know is that when he called Uber Eats, he would have been at the apartment complex. The additional ping that they were chasing, that's the one that they were chasing down the street at the church and then over near the hospital, the pain center over there. That's where they felt like there was a possibility of the phone being. So there was a pretty major search done in both of those areas, not only looking for Caleb, but looking for the phone.
Okay, but those, I guess, were done after it went dead. Is that what basically they believe now? It was after the phone went dead and a later ping that went out, that sort of that phantom ping that we're talking about. So
Correct.
Really, we don't know where the phone went dead at.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, that's a big piece of information that needs to be answered. In this case, something that I know you all have been frustrated with in my conversations with you all, I feel your frustration. And I know in speaking with Assistant Chief Green today, how much he's frustrated. And that has been some of the subpoena and search warrant returns for information from the carriers or from the different apps and, Apple and all these different subpoenas that went out. Can you talk a little bit about that, Nana?
Me? Yeah. Well, from what I understand, earlier on, I don't know if my timeline is exact or not, but at least I would say about 6 weeks ago, because Randy goes down once a week to talk to Corpus Christi police. And a lot of times Jeff and Ted join him, and then just recently they decided to do it one at a time. But what I got frustrated about is that they told them 6 weeks ago they were waiting on these subpoenas to get back, and warrants, and we kept hearing that, but there was never any resolve to it until a friend of my daughter's here had said something, about contacting the congressman in our area and also the one down there. And so when we did that, actually I didn't do it; it was my son here that did it. Almost immediately, they started getting in the information that they needed. And so we kind of sat there.
Don't you think if you had a spokesperson or somebody that was like in charge, that they would do all that stuff for you, so you didn't have to worry?
For a good 4
You're supposed to just worry about your loved one.
With nothing happening on those subpoenas and warrants. That's my understanding. I don't go down and speak with the police face to face, but that's just my understanding. And they are finally, getting a little bit more information in.
And Jeff, it sounds like you were very instrumental in that, in trying to put a little pressure on the people being subpoenaed or the warrants. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. We contacted Chip Roy and the local microfile, new ACE, the congressman in Corpus Christi, and they were all very, very willing to help and have relationships with law enforcement, and they did, any outside pressure is helpful, or outside support, I should say. So yes, we did, we're engaging anybody we can to help and help the system and put pressure on these subpoenas and whatever we could do as a family.
There's nothing worse than understanding the process. And that is literally once that AT&T clerk gets the request, they go in, they look up the account. Okay, you need a week or 2 weeks worth of records. They literally go into those records. It takes them about 10 minutes at the most. They print it off or send it off electronically, and that's it. And it's very frustrating. I know people in law enforcement, it's so important to make that contact with the person that is actually doing it to get their file moved to the top, because this isn't a property crime. This isn't a financial crime. This isn't a historical crime. This is a crime involving somebody who is missing and somebody whose life could be in peril. I can't state it any more plain than that. And so it's always a frustrating process to literally get that clerk to move it to the top of the pile, because that's what it takes. And it takes a squeaky wheel. And I'm glad to hear that at least some motion is happening. And I also understand that, of course, once you get one set of returns showing phone traffic or showing text messaging or other sorts of messaging, then it leads you to something new. And then you have to subpoena them. So it's kind of can be a never ending, long domino process. And I know that's been frustrating. Nana, I'm sorry, Ted, do you want to talk to us a little bit about that? Just, I know you haven't been in the thick of that piece, but what it's been like to not have any answers from law enforcement.
It's been very disheartening not to have the answers. It's been very upsetting and disheartening not to have Caleb back. And so we're looking for information that will lead us to him, or lead law enforcement to him, in order to get the process moving to get him back home. So it's day by day, and you can't get him off your mind. You know, it's a constant day, and you're thinking about it. You need something to pull you away for a little while, but it always comes back. You know, what's the holdup? Why can't they find him? You know, we know for a fact that we have a God that knows where he is. We know for a fact that we have a God that can rescue him. We know that Caleb knows his God. We know that Caleb has God's word in his heart, and he carries with him every day, and he has a hope knowing who he belongs to. And so we know that Caleb is in good hands with the God that he honors, with the God that he believes in. And
They super religious, you know. Oh man, I feel so bad for this family.
his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you know, we're hoping to get him back quick.
And I think it's so beautiful to listen to the faith you all have. And I know in discussions I've had with you all that your faith is what has been your strength to try to get through this process. But nevertheless, you all are human. And I can't imagine what it must be like to go through what you're going through. I want to talk a little bit about something that Assistant Chief Green told me. And, you know, obviously anything I said that I wouldn't repeat, I'm not repeating. But there was one thing that he said I could say. And that was really, he wanted to address, he asked me if I would send this message to all the cyber sleuths, the, you know, people in the true crime community that really do care about helping find Caleb. And what he had to say was this, was that they are getting to a point, law enforcement is getting to a point that they do have some direction on where they're looking and what they're looking at. And so they're not at a brick wall yet, but the minute they get to a brick wall, they are going to make a release of information when they think they're at the point that it's going to help the case. And they don't think that right now. They don't think that what they're sitting on and not sharing, it's going to be helpful to share right now. But he wanted to assure everyone in the community, everyone who cares about Caleb, everybody who seeks justice and worries and advocates for the missing, it's coming. If they hit a dead end, they're just not there yet. And I found that to be just such good words, because to me, that means two things. That means one, law enforcement isn't at a dead end. They have particular leads they're following, and they're looking in a particular direction, and it's not exhausted yet. And only when it's exhausted are they going to come, and then they say they're going to come to open it up more, or open it up to the public. And I think that'll be great once that happens, but let's hope that they resolve it before then. Lastly, I just wanted to know if we could kind of go around. Jeff, I'm going to start with you. What it is meant to have him gone, and any message that you might want to send in case anybody that might be involved in this would be listening.
Just that, you know, you have, you know, the gem of our life, and we'll do anything in our power to get him back, whatever it takes, you know, have mercy on him. And, you know,
They didn't say, like, that's a weird way to word it, you know, like they're talking like there's no way that he could have possibly walked away by his own. So they're assuming somebody has him.
And you know, and he's all of our lives. So I mean, we'll all do whatever it takes, whatever effort it takes to get him back, and and so we'll, all of our supporters, you can see all the support we have. So.
Andy?
I think that we are real people. We are not just this news story that people are following. We are this family that is missing their child, their grandchild, their niece, my brother, my best friend. This isn't something that is entertainment for anybody. And just as Jeff said, we will do anything to get him back.
Becky?
I would just say there's people watching that have him, that he has a family that loves him back. And to, that God will forgive you for anything you've done and just return him back safely. And if Caleb was listening, just to be that I want him to know to stay strong, to call him verses that he knows, and to fight with everything he's got to get back.
Papa?
Yeah, I think the same thing. We don't know what what reason that he would have been taken, because we don't know anything that he could have even been involved in or associated with. Somebody has been my mistake. Not even.
Hold on, Pop. Stop talking. We're going to put the closed captioning on and see if we can get what Pop's saying. Because I think they might, I don't, they're talking like, they know something. Like, oh, man, this family, I hope they find their boy.
Becky?
I would just say there's people watching that have him.
Let me take the banner
He
down.
has a family that loves him back. And to, that God will forgive you for anything you've done and just return him back safely. And if Caleb was listening, just to be that I want him to know to stay strong, to call him verses that he knows, and to fight with everything he's got to get back.
Papa?
Yeah, I think the same thing. We don't know what what reason that he would have been taken, because we don't know anything that he could have even been involved in or associated with. Somebody has been my mistake. Not even feel like they've done anything.
Is he talking about Caleb when he's saying we don't know anything that he was involved with? I mean, I think they do. They would know. His family. They seem like a tight bunch.
Pray that, we'll be back. We just know that. Like Amy said, I just said, we'll be doing and
Janet?
Well, I love what Amy said, is we're real people. And even though we've gotten a lot of support, there's been some pretty awful things said. And if we are hurting the deepest core. We lost a son earlier when he was 2 years old. We have resolve to that. We know what you're dealing with. We don't know what we're dealing with.
Hold on a second. Did she just say they lost a child when the child was 2 years old?
We lost a son earlier when he was 2 years old.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. Lord have mercy. She did say that. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? They lost a son, but he was 2 years old, and she is going to say, but they knew it happened, so they had that closure. Oh my Lord, have mercy. I didn't know that. Wow. Oh my Lord. His poor family.
We have resolve to that. We know what you're dealing with. We don't know what we're dealing with this. And it's just been agony for all of us. We sort of take turns, doesn't all happen at once, but we are a very tight group. Since Caleb was in the first grade, he lived within 10 minutes of us. We do a lot of our life together, and there's a huge hole in our family with him gone.
Randy, I'm sorry, Janet.
I'm sorry. I want to say too that if Caleb was listening to this, we love you. We want you back. And if you're not whole, we will get you there.
Oh,
Randy?
For me, it's everything everybody said. if we could talk directly to whomever may have him, again, our faith in Jesus Christ is something that we, as hard as it is to pray for that individual or that group or whatever, where he is, we have to find it in our hearts to also pray for them, that they will have mercy, they will have the grace of God upon them. And that's what we're hoping for. And if Caleb's listening, come home.
Oh,
Fight.
He wants to come home.
Fight everything you can.
okay. I haven't heard his dad cry. That was the first time. Oh my Lord, have mercy. And where is Tony? This family, apparently they needed a spokesperson there. I mean, Randy probably needed him there. He's supposed to be the spokesperson. I hope that I hope that Randy's just like, go by, like, just, just go. Because he's not, I mean, he's already put out misinformation on this case. He vetted a story that wasn't true. He vetted that somebody saw him on the other end of the road, like a mile away, with the dog walking in the opposite direction. And they had to come out and say, no, that was not true.
Thank you all. Thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you for talking about Caleb to all the people in the audience and all the people really across the U.S. that really care about this young man and know that he didn't just disappear. Something happened. Something happened. And everyone in the audience and everyone who hears this, please show his picture. Put it on your platforms, whether that's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Twitter, whatever. Please put Caleb's picture out there. You never know who might see something, who might know something. Please, his name, his story. This is one of these cases, and I know those on Twitter have noticed it went from, all over mainstream media and all over Twitter hemisphere, and now people barely talk about Caleb. They need to be talking about Caleb. We need to be talking about Caleb because someone knows what happened. Someone knows what happened here.
Well, I'd like to say something about the volunteers too. We have so many wonderful volunteers. I think we're up to probably close to 19,000 brochures or flyers put out, signs and magnets and, billboards. And again, the support that we've had is amazing. And I think I want to thank everybody in Corpus Christi because it's pretty amazing. You can't go anywhere without somebody knowing something about, Caleb. And it's happening now, all over the state of Texas, all the way up to Amarillo and other areas. So we're very thankful. Extremely thankful, and that's what we need. We need the public's help.
Such a gracious statement. You're always so gracious, Randy. You always sing the accolades of the volunteers, and the volunteers, from all accounts, from the word one, have done such an excellent job. And let's keep doing our job out here on the airwaves of keeping his face and name. And if you live in the Corpus Christi area and want to help, please reach out to Randy. Please reach out to his family and see what you can help in terms of spreading flyers. Are there any search efforts anymore in any of the areas, Randy?
Only direct when we have a lead. Right now, there's not an official ground search going on. As we get leads in, whether it comes in from Facebook or the tip line, those are immediately definitely the CCPD reacts very fast, and they will include all their resources, Coast Guard, drones, everything they have to go look and try to find if there's a lead, pointing to Caleb.
Coast Guard, drones. Randy, you got this thing going. He don't need no Tony.
There's a Facebook page called Volunteers for Caleb Harris that you can follow, and the young lady that is in charge of it is extremely organized. She's a student. She's going to be
The young lady that's in charge of it. Okay. Part of being a spokesperson is being in charge of the social media.
a teacher.
Maybe
she
they
can go
did
out to
kick her to the
Magnard,
curb.
and she is got flyers and locations where everything has been gone all over Texas, all over the United States. And so if you are on Facebook and you look up Volunteers for Caleb Harris, you can find out what's going on there. She's been amazing, absolutely amazing.
And a new friend for Andy.
I'm sorry, say that again, Randy?
New friend for Andy. They went and got the nails done.
That's great. Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's sweet.
One of our chats, and I do want to address a couple of questions from the people listening because they're very important. They think of so many things that we haven't thought of in tonight's discussion. One of them asked a question about an Apple Watch. Did he have an Apple Watch, and do you know what has been done concerning his Apple Watch?
I'd say
Yes,
no.
he had a MacBook, an iPad, Apple Watch, and an iPhone. iPhone was never found. The MacBook was taken into forensics. The iPad and the iWatch were actually taken in and given to the Secret Service. They have more technology, probably the most advanced technology, to be able to crack into it, for better lack of words. And that was sent off to another state. And so they've been helping with the technology. But yes, there was an Apple Watch, and they do have that, and they've definitely been doing the forensics on it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because the U.S. Marshals are involved. They have a great network for fugitive finding. That's one of the things they do, one of the initiatives they have. So it's great that they're involved. Secret Service, in talking to Assistant Green, had one specific thing they were able to help with, and that's just what you said. They sent it off to their lab in Miami and had the forensic analysis done on those two items, copied, mirrored, and sent back. I guess they were one of the only labs that existed to do that. And of course, the Bureau is handling the lion's share of all the digital forensics. So the Texas Rangers, for those who are wondering, they are also involved, offering up any assistance that are needed. Countless groups of divers and of searchers and volunteers, and the Texas Wildlife, I think, Commission also helped.
Texas and Wildlife, Sheriff's Department.
Oh, they got everybody.
Coast Guard.
Yep. So this has been a huge effort. Every week, law enforcement meets with Randy. Every week, law enforcement, speaks to each other. And I know for a fact, I feel more confident than ever after talking to Chief Green that it's coming to a head one way or the other. Either the direction they're going is going to be fruitful with more answers, or they're going to unleash some information to the public that hopefully we'll all be able to assist with as best we can. Faces and names maybe of individuals that could have possibly last seen him. That's not anything Chief Green said. That's just me talking from a law enforcement perspective. Let me just check out a couple of these other questions. People are saying it's great you all had Apple devices because it's good technology. Everybody is really sending you all a lot of prayers and asking for God's blessings over you all.
What an amazing chat.
Just a lot of comments really reaching out and giving you their support. And I'm sure you'll be able to go on afterwards, family of Caleb, and read these comments for yourself. You have a lot of people that are behind this effort to find Caleb. So let's get his name back out there, his face, and let's find Caleb.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. Actually, I've never done this before. No, I did it one other time, but it was offline, and one other time with an account that we always pray together. He always says the prayers because he's a preacher. I'm just going to say a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, I just ask that you help give this family continued strength to get through this time, continued peace, to try to find just peace as you can, day in and day out as you go through this struggle. And then also, Lord, if you could please give law enforcement the guidance, the intelligence, the strength they need to find Caleb and bring him back to this amazing family. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. Not something I normally do, but I am a big believer. Everyone who follows me knows that. And we're praying for you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Till next time.
Okay, that was really nice. That was real sweet. Her doing that prayer at the end. That was sweet. That was, go Jennifer Koppendorfer, she said she's never done that before on live. If this family is amazing, I wish Seth could get a do-over too, DM. I do too. You never know how you're going to act or react when your child goes missing. I would go nuts if my dog was missing, let alone an actual child, because I don't have children, So my brain can't even compute that, because y'all know I'd be a helicopter parent anyway. I really would. But I just couldn't imagine your child is missing. It's one thing if your child, heaven forbid, your child has an illness, and passes away like that. But when your child is missing and you don't know where your child is, that's the part that would drive me nuts. I just wouldn't be able to do it. Hey, Tony, welcome in. And welcome in, everybody. I was looking at the chat. I always say that, but I'm not even on the camera tonight. I usually am. Oh, Ava said, I used to live down by where Caleb went missing. Community-wise, it's a step back in time. People care more about each other. They've depended on each other through storms, etc. Aw. Is it a smaller town too? It kind of seems like it might be. That's always good to be in towns like that. I told Vincent, I was like, we should move to another town where we know people. Because we live in a smaller town, but we don't really know anybody here. Where I grew up, I knew everybody. So like you could get your tires done for like super cheap or like just random stuff, you know. If you needed somebody to sell you a car cheap, you could get somebody to sell you a car cheap. I don't know. It was just different. Just kind of different. Different times though, probably as well. Let me go over to Twitter and see if anybody has said anything about Caleb. I also looked up the Facebook group they were talking about, volunteers for Caleb, but it looks like it's a private group, so I'm going to join it. See if they'll let me join their group. I think they will. And that was a really good interview. Oh, look at this. Nancy. Oh my, geez, Nancy, your kid is way taller than you. I'll show you this picture of Nancy's kid. Nancy, where you at? Look at that. That's a cute picture. Let's see, not on there. We'll just go over here. We'll see what the latest is. Okay, I'm just reading it before I read it to you guys. This is like an actual person. 7 hours ago. Let me see if I can just go to like the hashtag. April 4th. Yeah, like more people need to be talking about this, I feel like. And they're not. Jules said that I saw this earlier, she saw a flyer today where she lives. But she didn't say, where anything, but she just said, So it's $50,000 reward for, for information leading to the safe return of Caleb Harris. And it says by March 31st, but I think they extended it, but I think they extended it again. I thought I was on the screen there. What is it? It's hard to get by. Yeah, it is. Corpus is, oh yeah, it's not small, but the fishing community is. Ooh, what's a rose arbor? Is it like a garden of roses? I don't know what it is. Am I close? Oh, thanks, Mary Beth, for gifting out a membership. Welcome aboard, Heather. So, okay, so Wes, are you talking about with Caleb's case? So if you guys don't know what's going on with Tony Mathis, so Tony Mathis is Seth Rogers' spokesperson. He got into the whole spokesperson role because he's a crane operator and he works with Caleb Harris's father. So Caleb Harris's father, I guess, needed somebody to speak for him, which we've seen the interviews tonight. He did a great job by himself with Tony. It wasn't even that great, like the interview. It wasn't even that great of an interview. Tony came in and he said, we're going national, just like he did with Sebastian's case. Everything that he's done and said in the Sebastian case, we went over it. He's done and said in this case. He did the same thing. And we still don't have Caleb. We still don't have Caleb home. He brought in the same people to look for Caleb. I mean, wowza. Yeah, so that's how they're connected. If you go through my playlist, I think I broke it down pretty good, pretty well on my playlist, like the last few lives of who was with what and who was with who and where is where and, all of that stuff. Because I think that I'm pretty sure, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that Tony Mathis said he lived in Oklahoma. So it's kind of like he does live in Oklahoma because that's where Caleb was from. Let me see. I'm about to look it up. I wonder if it'll tell me the town. Because I know that they had to drive over there. Tony sells cranes. He might. I don't know if he's an operator or if he sells them, but he looks like a vacuum salesman or something. I asked him the other night, did he buy did my mom buy a vacuum cleaner, a Kirby, off of him back in 2006? And did she make him a sandwich? Because someone did that. We had a Kirby guy come to our house back in like the early 2000s. It was before 2008. It had to be late 90s. He knocked on the door, and by the end of the night, my mom had given him a sandwich, and he sold a vacuum cleaner. Me and my dad were like, what just happened? You just bought a $2,000 vacuum cleaner. That's steel. You have to change the bags. Hey, serious. Tony acts like a used car dealer. He does. He was that guy that would come to your door and sell insurance or something. Just ruin your day. Just to ruin your day. Me too. Mary Beth, I do too. I'm glad that you do. I had a Kirby guy today. Really? No way. They still come around. I told him no one has carpet anymore, guy. We have zero carpet here. We have like this little rug behind me, and we have a rug underneath of our couch, and then we have to still get one for under our bed. But that's all we're gonna have. We tore up those things. Man, I can't do carpet with animals. No. Maybe I will. Well, me and Vincent, yeah, we're gonna do something. Hey, welcome on in. We actually just got finished with our live. We were just chit-chatting. But I am gonna go somewhere on Memorial Day. Or I don't know if we're gonna go Memorial Day. But I asked if Vincent wanted to go do something, and he said he did. I said, "Do you want to go do something together for a night or two?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Cool. Me too." But we have to take the dogs with us. So we might like do like camping or something. And glamping is more like it, you know. Like we'll maybe get like a cottage or a little, somewhere. We've camped in a tent before, and it's not for us. I just do not do animals. Oh, I love animals. My dogs are stinky and crazy, and they lick me, and my dog sits on my head half the time. The other one is scared of life. She won't even get on the bed without me. And I love them. I tell Mia all the time I want to give her away. Not you, Mia. Not Mia in the chat. Mia, my dog. Oh, do they accept pets? Okay, I'll have to look. Yeah, we want to go somewhere. And then I was like, what about like Put in Bay? Because it's like not that far from us. I don't know how long, but so we're just thinking, we don't know what we're gonna do. Yeah, like a little date night, like go and stay over the night somewhere or a couple nights. And then we're gonna go out to California this year. Well, we go every year. We go every September. And I think on the way back, we are going to take my boyfriend's old car. Like he has a car that he had out there, and it's been out there for a while and is just sitting there getting older. So he's like, we might just bring that one back and drive through all the states from California to Ohio and like stop at different places and explore. I was like, that would be fun because I've never been on the West Coast other than to California. So I think that'd be fun. He wants to go to Vegas. I'm like, okay, just give me to the quarter slots. Yeah, thanks, Mary Beth. Everyone hit the like button. So I guess I'll let y'all go. We did another like 2-hour live tonight. I've been trying to keep them down to like an hour and a half, and I haven't been able to. I am going to do a video on this. Before the live today, I broke down a little, and I'm not going to break down anymore. But Diana Kojikari, Madalena Kojikari's mother, the little girl that's been missing out in North Carolina, Cornelia, since November of 2022, she's been released from jail. She was in jail for felony charge of failing to report a missing child, and she pled guilty, and they've already held her to the amount that they can hold her for that charge, I guess. She didn't produce her child. And what's going to happen now is they're probably going to send her back to Moldova, and Moldova does not have an extradition treaty. Meaning if she makes it to Moldova, it will be impossible, almost impossible to get her back to the States. In the event they do charge her with more. I am disgusted. I am so sad. I'm just so sad. So I went and told Vincent, and he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Lori Vallow is in jail right now, prison, because she hid her children and they ended up dead. We don't know where Madalena is." I'll have to do another live over Madalena because I think a lot of people don't know her case. And this is one that needs to be talked about because she doesn't have anybody fighting for her here other than the Cornelius Police Department, you know? Maybe I'll take a little drive down to North Carolina this weekend. I'm fired up because I saw the video of her walking out smiling. And I'm just like, oh, y'all, she's one I just don't like. But we'll have to do a live over Madalena. But we only need 5 more to get to 100. Is that what it is, Mary Beth? Everyone hit that like button. Get us to 100. We'll feel good. I know. I hope she's alive, Ava. If they find her and she's alive, oh my gosh, I would I would be so happy for that little girl and never give her to a mother. Do you remember the grandmother is getting her way. She said in the interview, if you let my daughter go, we'll just go back to Moldova. What, man, I'd like to punch Grandma Hojakari right in her face too. I'm sorry, but I would. The grandma's the worst. If you just let her go, we'll leave the country. What do you mean? No, ma'am. What about your granddaughter? It's just crazy. But I mean, I hope they do find her and I hope she's okay. She seems like a very strong little girl. So she would be 13 now. She just had a birthday. So I'm going to jump off here. I'll be back tomorrow night. Well, actually tomorrow during the day. So probably around 5:30, 5:15, 5:30, we're going to do Idaho. Brian Kohlberger is going to be back in court. They have, it's at 2:30 p.m., but that's West Coast time. So by the time we get it, it'll be 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The testimony is going to be related to the defendant's 4th and 5th motions to compel. The witness was unavailable for the 30th for their hearing. So he's going to, or he or she, the witness is going to be taking the stand on May 23rd, which is tomorrow. So I will be back with Kohlberger and Idaho 4, which is kind of, that's exciting. It's not like exciting, but it's just something different. I mean, it's just been crazy around here lately. So I think we need the change. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate you. If you don't mind, like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Oh, there we go. We hit it. Look at that. Can't even beat that. But I love you guys, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good evening. Bye.